Welcome to the Carbohydrate Wars course. If you've completed the Blood Sugar Basics course, you know that maintaining proper levels of blood sugar is one of the most important functions of your body. You know that diabetes is a disease that has, as one symptom, the mismanagement of blood sugar. You also know that problems in blood sugar management can occur long before a medical diagnosis of diabetes or prediabetes. But you may not know how prevalent these problems are. About 38 million adults in the U.S. are now living with diabetes, which is roughly a sixth of the adult population. Another 97 million are pre-diabetic, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, bringing the total to around half of the adult population. Since a diagnosis of prediabetes generally occurs several years after blood sugar problems begin, it's a good guess that as much as 2/3 of the U.S. adult population is in trouble, or is heading for trouble in this regard. And trouble is the right word for it. As you learned in the Blood Sugar Basics course, diabetes isn't the only disease that's associated with blood sugar mismanagement. The list includes excess abdominal fat, Alzheimer's, high blood pressure, heart disease, and stroke. You may be wondering, how did this happen? How have these non-contagious diseases spread so rapidly through the population? And what is probably the most important question, how do you avoid these conditions or halt or reverse the progression of disease if you already have one or more? We'll begin our search for the answers to these questions with the definition of diabetes. Diabetes is a disease in which the body's ability to produce or respond to the hormone insulin is impaired, resulting in abnormal processing of carbohydrates and elevated levels of glucose in the blood. Read this carefully and you will see that what happens with your blood sugar is not the cause of diabetes. It's a symptom that is caused by another symptom of the disease, the abnormal processing of a particular component of food called carbohydrates. Carbohydrates have been a major component of the food people have been eating ever since people started eating food. But over the past few decades, carbohydrates have become the subject of considerable controversy, with their presence or absence being a prominent feature of some very popular diets. Advocates of one or another viewpoint about carbohydrates use ideas and claims as ammunition. Getting the right information can be a matter of life or death. You just want to figure out what you should eat to be healthy. But when you venture onto the internet or into a bookstore to find out, it can feel like you're on a battlefield. And in fact, you are. It's a battlefield in what we call the carbohydrate wars. In these lessons, we're going to try to get past the complexity and competing claims about carbohydrates to help you understand what's most important. Fortunately, what you need to know turns out to be pretty simple. But in order for you to arrive at a place where it will make enough sense to you to guide your decisions, we're going to need to take a journey through the carbohydrate war zone. We'll begin that journey by learning more about exactly what carbohydrates are in Lesson 2.